Shakur Stevenson is one of the most elusive fighters in boxing today. His defensive style, along with his many abilities, have earned him world titles in 3 weight classes. In 2019, he defeated Joet Gonzalez to capture the featherweight world title. 2 years later, he stopped Jamel Herring to win the championship at junior lightweight.
That is it!
Then, in April 2022, he handed fellow champ Oscar Valdez his first pro loss to unify the titles. Shakur, who is now a champion at lightweight, authored one of his best performances that night against Valdez.
A masterclass boxing performance, a clinic.
So, on this episode of The Blueprint, we'll take a closer look at Shakur Stevenson's control of distance in his unanimous decision win over Oscar Valdez.
A big crowd came out to see unification, and now they have a unified champ.
The key element of Shakur's defense is his control of distance, as he always tries to keep his opponents just outside the range of a fully extended punch. Maintaining this distance is important because it always keeps him one step away. So, in order for Valdez to be able to land, he has to take the risk of stepping in. Shakur maintains this distance by combining various techniques, including a stiff jab, lead hand control, short steps backward, and lateral movement. Now, the first line of defense for a fighter is his feet, so we'll look at that first. Here, Shakur uses his feet to take short steps back as Valdez is coming forward. This accomplishes the task of keeping Valdez just outside of range. Shakur then mixes in some lead hand control by pawing or probing with his right hand to re-establish his distance as he is stepping back. While doing this, he maintains proper foot technique by first stepping back with the rear foot before re-establishing his boxing stance with the front foot. He then throws a series of punches from this range, including a left to the body that he sets up with a blinder. We'll look closer at his use of the lead hand in a moment, but first, let's continue looking at his feet. In this sequence, Valdez is a bit more aggressive, so Shakur throws stiff jabs as he steps back. At the same time, he is turning Valdez by constantly moving to his right. Sometimes Shakur does go straight back, but at other times he turns his opponents to avoid the ropes, as he does here. Now, Valdez wants to stand right in front of him, preferably with his feet planted firmly. But Shakur's constant movement prevents him from planting his feet and thus mounting an effective offense. Valdez eventually manages to get him closer to the ropes, so Shakur moves both to the right and to the left to avoid an exchange before clinching him. There are several instances in this fight where Shakur is willing to work on the inside with Valdez, presumably because he doesn't feel his power. But it's clear that he is most comfortable when he is maintaining his range. When Valdez gets too close for comfort, Shakur can clinch or use his lateral movement, as he does here by stepping to his left, and again here by moving to his right, with the goal being to find the center of the ring, where he has more space to take those short steps back and control range. As we saw a bit earlier, a major part of Shakur's distance control comes from his lead right hand, which he uses in diverse ways. Here he paws with the right as he again takes short steps backward, before unleashing stiff jabs. He then uses this distance to comfortably throw straight power shots. The constant probing establishes range, obstructs Valdez's vision, and puts an additional obstacle between Valdez and Shakur. So not only is Valdez trying to cut the distance between them with his feet, but he also has to find a way to punch through or around this lead hand in order to land on Shakur.
He's got to sell out and put himself in a position to let his shots go like you see right there, knowing that he's gonna get hit.
At one point, he even grabs Shakur's arm, a tactic that apparently isn't illegal, but which highlights his desire to find a way around the lead hand.
Well, he's jousting and range finding sometimes with that right hand out in front, so Valdez just pulled on it.
Yeah, that's legal. I ain't never seen that before.
Additionally, the way Shakur switches from just pawing to actually throwing stiff jabs creates diversity in his offense, making it harder for Valdez to know if he's just probing or actually throwing a punch. Another lead hand tactic that Shakur likes to use is the blinder, which is when he briefly places his right hand on or around the face of his opponent to obstruct his vision. Here, after pawing for a bit, he momentarily leaves his right hand on Valdez's face. This blinder obstructs his vision and prepares the straight left to the body. It's a move Shakur does frequently in this fight and with much success. First, by probing with the lead hand before using the blinder to connect the left to the body. The blinder is an important part of his offense, but he has to be careful and not leave it there for too long, as he gets warned by the referee a few times in the fight. Indeed, once a blinder is placed there for too long, it can lead to a warning or a point deduction. So it's best to keep it brief as part of one's offense. For the most part, though, the lead right hand, which is used in various different ways, is an integral part of setting up his offense, as he uses it here before landing another left to the body. Shakur shows just how slick he is by momentarily having both gloves on Valdez upon impact. And here he uses the lead hand to guide Valdez away before connecting another left to the body. Shakur doesn't just use the lead hand to set up punches to the body. He also uses it to prepare power shots through and around the guard, as he does in this exchange. Another element of Shakur's distance control is his ability to make his opponents pay once they've taken the risk of stepping in. A lot of times, this means taking a step back and unloading power shots. And while doing this, Shakur maintains balance and full extension on his punches. Shakur lands a lot of his offense from this outside position, and it makes Valdez second-guess himself before stepping in. Additionally, he is able to connect with solid counterpunches from the outside. Here we see Shakur take short steps backward while pawing with his lead hand. This forces Valdez to take the risk of stepping forward and bridging the gap. Unfortunately for Valdez, he throws the right hand and it leaves him off balance as Shakur takes another step back. This additional space provides the opening for a hard left hand from Shakur before he moves to his left to avoid the ropes. He then throws power shots from the outside to punctuate the sequence and prevent Valdez from mounting more offense.
Shakur Stevenson filled that gap.
Here we see Shakur mixing in various lead hand tactics while stepping back. Again, Valdez is very aggressive, so it requires additional movement. Nevertheless, Shakur maintains his balance and is able to capitalize on his aggression as he counters with the right hook as Valdez steps forward, sending him toward the ropes. Shakur then steps backward and forward to attempt a right uppercut to cement the knockdown.
There is the knockdown, opening up round 6.
Thus, we see how he mixes in lead hand tactics with footwork to create counter-punching opportunities. By the final rounds, Shakur is in full control, with a commanding lead on the scorecards before securing a unanimous decision victory. Shakur Stevenson defends his lightweight world title on Saturday, July 6th, live on ESPN.